Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be going through my entire Lord of the Rings collection. So that'll not only include the movies, but as well as any figures, memorabilia, merchandise, games, books, all that kind of stuff. Now we have a lot of stuff to go to, so let's get ready to get started. Welcome once again, my name's Austin, and this channel is all about digging deeper and going further to better understand faith and film and everything that's in between. If that sounds exciting to you, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, this is a video I was inspired to do by a friend of mine who also has a YouTube channel. I'll put his information up probably on the screen here right about now. And his PlatX2, he is also a huge Lord of the Rings fan and has quite an extensive Lord of the Rings collection. And I was commenting on his video when he did his, said he would love to see mine. So I figured, even just for him, let's put my Lord of the Rings collection up on my channel, as I'm such a huge fan and I have lots of stuff that I love having in my collection. So first things first, let's actually get the movies out of the way first, because that's probably the easiest thing for me to go through. First, I have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is just the theatrical edition of all the movies on Blu-ray. And then I also have the Hobbit trilogy on Blu-ray. This is the cardboard box set that's really nice. I got this off my brother last year, and it has all 3 Hobbit movies on extended editions with a bunch of different bonus features. After that, we have what's probably my favorite box set that I have is the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition box set. So this has all of the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So now the reason I have both is because I want to have the regular theatrical ones on Blu-ray, because every once in a while, it's kind of the best way to introduce people to the trilogy rather than overwhelming them with 3 4-hour movies at once. So I also have the theatrical edition, but this is probably my favorite box set in my collection. It's absolutely a beautiful set. I have this with all the 20+ hours of bonus features. Love it. Next, of course, I wouldn't be a Lord of the Rings fan if I did not have this. It's the Lord of the Rings extended and theatrical editions on 4K. The only reason this isn't my favorite thing in my collection is because the other box set looks just a little bit better in my opinion, and it has all of the bonus features for the trilogy. So that kind of just puts it a little bit above this set for my collection, but still, this is now my go-to version for watching The Lord of the Rings. Also, aside from the movies, I do have this Tolkien Master of the Rings DVD set. John over on the PlatX2 channel sent this over to me last year around Christmas time, so haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it's got a lot of really cool stuff about Tolkien's Middle-earth. It's kind of a definitive guide, so I am looking forward to checking this out at some point, just haven't done so yet. Next, we'll go through my figures, merchandise, and other things, that kind of stuff. So I do have a little mini Aragorn Funko Pop figure. At some point, I would like to get all of the 9 Fellowship on Funko. I just have been holding off to this point because I've been focused on my movie collection. But at some point, maybe in the next year or so, I want to start collecting all of those for the Funkos, because I think it'd be really cool to display all that on like a Lord of the Rings section, which I have plenty of stuff for. Next, I have a recent addition to the collection. So there's a line of figures called Epic Minis, I believe, and they're actually put out by Weta, who does the effects for Lord of the Rings and tons of other movies too. But they put out this line of Lord of the Rings figures. I specifically got the Frodo one because it was on clearance when I was at the store, and the rest of these are like $30 each. Got this one for like $7, so I keep this one in front of my Lord of the Rings 4K set on display. I don't know if I'll ever go and get the rest of the figures, but I thought this one was really cool, had a really great price. So I'll probably end up going down the Funko route down the road for the rest of the figures, but this is still a really cool, highly detailed, really neat style figure. Next, I got this at a flea market, nothing really too fancy. It's from the Lord of the Rings Conquest game, but it is the limited edition Witch King of Angmar's sword. It's just a little rubber thing. I think I opened it once just to take a look at it, but just something I grabbed for like 50 cents at a flea market, because I just grab pretty much anything Lord of the Rings I can get my hands on. Next, I do have a Gandalf Giant Mug. Now, technically, this is actually supposed to be a Santa mug. I did it at a local pottery painting shop in town where I live, and this is supposed to be a Santa Claus one, I believe, but I saw this and immediately thought of Gandalf. So painted it to look like Gandalf's big old beard, and I love it. I don't really use it to drink out of. I use it more for display purposes, but I love having this as a part of my Lord of the Rings display. And one of my last kind of physical items outside of the, well, actually, no, let me do this first. I also have the Lord of the Rings Pez collection. My sister got me this a number of years ago. She found it. It's a Walmart exclusive, but it has pretty much most of everyone from the Fellowship, as well as Gollum. You're missing Merry and Pippin, and then it does have Sauron in there too. Hopefully you can see it fairly well, but I've never opened this. I think it's pretty cool just to kind of keep it sealed on the shelf with all my books and stuff, but pretty cool thing to have in the collection too. Lastly, I have one of my favorite things for the merchandising part of my collection. One of my best friends, when he got married, gave me as a groomsman gift a mini replica of Sting. It is actually a real blade and kind of technically a letter opener, but I don't use it for that. I just keep it up for display purposes, but it's an absolutely beautiful little thing. I mean, it's nothing super duper fancy. Like, this is plastic, it's not leather or anything like that, but the blade itself is metal, is real, and I love looking at this one, checking out once in a while. I love that I usually keep it like this, and then when people come over, they open up like, whoa, that's actually real. So really cool. Love having this as part of my display. I guess I'll tag this in here too. I do have the Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey board game. I just got this like a month ago from my sister. She found it at like a Goodwill or something like that and picked it up for me. She said looked it up and it's worth a good bit of money. She said she checked, everything's in there, it's in really good condition. So I haven't had a chance to look up kind of how the game works or anything like that, but I'm really excited to check it out at some point. Now, moving on to the books, I'm not going to do this in any particular order because I have so many Lord of the Rings books. Starting things off, they'll go real easy. I just have the movie editions of the trilogy for the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. And then I do also have a 1-volume edition of Lord of the Rings. I think I found this at a Goodwill or flea market or something like that for like $1. So I also have the 1-volume edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And then I do have this really cool kind of old style looking book for The Hobbit. So this one's really cool. I actually technically had 2 exact copies of this, but the one I had before this one was in pretty rough shape. And then I believe either myself or one of my siblings found this in pretty much new condition. So I just got another copy of it and kept this one, got rid of the other one because it was all kind of ripped up and torn. I also have a Tolkien trivia book. This has a bunch of information about J.R.R. Tolkien, as well as the world of Middle-earth. I have no idea where I got this. I don't remember. People just know I love Lord of the Rings and get me Lord of the Rings books and all kinds of stuff. This is one of my favorites of the books in my collection. This is the Tolkien Dictionary. Essentially, you can look up any location, character, or creature in this book and get a bit of information about it. It's so cool. This is one that I really enjoy keeping by me whenever I'm watching movies, just to look up and see what other information's in it. It's a really fun book. Also got this, some other recent ones. When my sister got me that board game, she found J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lost Road, and Other Writings. So I think these are a bunch of kind of short stories within the world of Middle-earth. Haven't had a chance to dig into it yet, but again, my family and friends know I love Lord of the Rings, so they pick up anything Lord of the Rings they see and give it to me. So she got me that, and then she got me the Silmarillion. So this is a really cool copy and edition. I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but obviously I just got it. But I do also have this copy of the Silmarillion. This is the one I've had for quite a while. I haven't had a chance to read this one yet. I've heard it's really dense, lots of information, intricacies, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a tough read when I do finally pull the trigger on it, but still want to have pretty much any Lord of the Rings book I can get my hand on. Now, before I move into the fun books, let's go through these real quick. I have a Walking with Frodo. This is a devotional, actually, that goes through the Lord of the Rings trilogy and picks out specific moments, story beats, that kind of thing, and ties in Christian themes and biblical scripture with them. So it's really cool. When I first got this, I went through it with a group of friends, I think when I was back in early college or something like that, when I was back at home. So we had a really good time going through it. I've gone through it 2 or 3 times total probably, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good one. Another devotional I have is the Hobbit Devotional. This one is probably my favorite devotional and one of my favorite devotionals ever. I'm not a huge devotional guy, but I love this one. This one goes through pretty much beat for beat the story of The Hobbit and pulls out some absolutely incredible themes and scriptures and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just so good the way that this guy, Ed Strauss is his name, ties it in with the book of The Hobbit as well as the Christian faith. So if you are someone who wants to kind of help expand your faith as well as your love of Lord of the Rings. I highly recommend this book. I've gone through it at least twice, and I'm planning on going through it again at some point soon. All right, we're getting there. We're just a few books left. This is probably my favorite book for anything Lord of the Rings that I have. It is an atlas of Middle-earth. It has incredible details when it comes to maps, geography, agriculture, language, all kind of stuff, like the evolution of the languages of Middle-earth, lineages. There's so much incredible information in here. My grandfather got this for me years ago. I think you could still get it on Amazon. That's where he got it. He got it for me for Christmas years ago. This is a book I keep by my side whenever I watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I love it. There's a wealth of information. So this is a book. If you get anything I showed you in this video, get this book. It's incredible. Next, probably the oldest book that's over here. It's all kind of torn up and stuff like that, but it is a Tolkien Beastiary. I got this at a library sale for like 50 cents. I'm very careful with this one. This is actually written by the same guy who wrote the Tolkien Dictionary, and this is more specifically about the creatures and whatnot that are within the world of Middle-earth. It's got some really cool, as you could probably see on the front here, art and drawings, all that kind of stuff. It's really beautiful to look at, especially kind of the age that it is. I forget when this book was written. Yeah, this was originally released in like the 40s, so I don't know if this edition is actually from that or something later, but this is such a cool book. I like to have, like I said, any Lord of the Rings related book I can get my hands on, so this is a really beautiful one. Next, I found this one at a thrift store. I found this at a thrift store. It's really cool. It's the Lord of the Rings Return of the King Jigsaw book. That's right, Jigsaw book. Not Jigsaw from the Saw movies, but each page in this book is a puzzle. So there's like 7 or 8 pages. You get some information on whatever it's about, and then you get a puzzle to do as well. So how often can you say that you have a book full of puzzles? That's super cool. Next, we have a book my brother got me. He got me the Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey official movie guide. This came out around about the time the Hobbit movies were coming out, so he picked this one up for me. I think it was for Christmas, birthday, something like that years ago. This is a really fun one to go through. You get tons of behind the scenes information about the making of the movies, the costumes, the set designs, all that kind of stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. So this is a really cool one to have as well. And lastly, another movie companion. I got this one at a flea market for 20 cents or something like that. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, visual companion. So again, similar to the Hobbit one I just showed you, has a bunch of behind the scenes movie facts about the making of the films. So that is everything Lord of the Rings in my collection. I didn't even bother. That's all my movies, my figures, my merchandise, my games, my books, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. As you can probably tell by everything I just showed you, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I absolutely love all the things I have in my collection. I really especially like picking up really cool, really unique books as well, and just going through those once in a while. So let me know in the comments down below, what is the coolest Lord of the Rings thing you have in your collection? I'd love to hear about it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.